Welcome back once again to the online class of biology. So, chapter 8 and 10 we have already completed. We have studied about various cell structures, isn't it? And we have also studied about the cell cycle. And the ninth chapter is biomolecules. Okay, so that I will teach you now. Okay, in from this video I'll be starting this chapter, biomolecules. So what do you mean by biomolecules? What we are made up of? If I ask, everyone will say that our body is made up of cells, isn't it? And if I say cells are made up of, then you may say there are nucleus, isn't it? Cytoplasm, cell membrane, then all organelles we have studied many. And when we studied the structure of plasma membrane, I have told you that the plasma membrane is made up of what? Lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, etc. Isn't it? And lipids, if you take, what will be there? So they all are made up of what? Elements and compounds, isn't it? So living things or non-living things, that all are made up of what? Elements and compounds, isn't it? And if we analyze a plant tissue or an animal tissue or a microbial paste, whatever it is, we can see that we are ultimately some elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, isn't it? Nothing else. So this all elements, they combine in different ways to form what? Cell organelles, they combine to form cells forms what? Tissues forms organ system, and finally organism. So we are also made up of what? Elements only, isn't it? So in this chapter we are mainly going to study about the biomolecules. Okay, so we are made up of elements, okay, organic compounds, inorganic compounds, all these are there in our body. Understood? Or else when we die, okay, or when any living organism die, we have studied the importance of what? Decomposers. Have we studied in 10th class? Yes, decomposers, what they do? They decompose and make the organic compounds into inorganic molecules, isn't it? And then what will happen? They can be easily absorbed again by the plants. Understood? So like this we are made up of what? Various elements. Okay, so we if we observe a living organism and a non-living thing, you can see that the abundance of carbon and hydrogen with respect to other elements will be higher in where? Living organisms. Understood? So living organism will have what? More elements like what? Carbon, hydrogen. Understood? When compared to the other elements. Is it clear? So as I told, the in living organism more what? Organic type of compounds will be found. So for this there is one experiment, that is, if we take a tissue, okay, living tissue, like what? A vegetable or a piece of liver or anything like that, okay, and if we are grind it using what? Trichloroacetic acid, okay, using a mortar or pestle. Simply if you grind the animal tissue or plant tissue with what? Using what? Trichloroacetic acid, you can see that a thick slurry you will get. And if we are filtering it, you will get two fractions. One is called the filtrate, or what is getting collected down in your vessel. Understood? And the other is which is retained in the filter paper or the cheesecloth. Understood? So the filtrate that we get in the vessel is known as the acid soluble pool, and the other one is known as acid insoluble fraction. Understood? And we can see that a number of organic compounds are found in the this acid soluble pool. Understood? And you can see that all the carbon compounds that we are getting from the living tissues are known as biomolecules. Is it clear? All the carbon compounds that we are getting from the living tissue is called what? Biomolecules. Understood? And in addition to this biomolecules, our body also contains a number of other elements. Okay, inorganic elements are also there. For example, have you studied for calcium, for bone growth, isn't it? Calcium, phosphate, etc. is needed. So this we can understand in another experiment, that is, if we take a tissue of plant or any animal like liver, and if we are dry it, okay, if you dry it, what will happen? The water content will evaporate, and the remaining material is known as the dry weight, isn't it? And if the dry weight, what do you mean by dry weight then? If we simply dry the tissue, okay, so that all the water content is evaporated, then you will get the dry weight. And if the dry weight, material that you are getting it, okay, if you burn it, you can see that all the carbon compounds will get oxidized, okay, that biomolecules will get oxidized, okay, and you can see that some ash will be remaining, isn't it? If our body is burned, you can see that ash will be remaining, and this ash contains what? Materials like calcium, elements like calcium, magnesium, etc. Understood? Then inorganic compounds like sulfate, phosphate, etc. are also will be there. Okay, in the acid soluble medium itself you can see this. Understood? So acid soluble medium contain organic molecules in the first experiment, and also what? Materials like sulfate, phosphate, etc. Understood? So if you study in an elemental level, okay, you can see that elemental composition of living tissue is hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, carbon, etc. Understood? So like this we can see that the body is the body of living organisms is made up of various molecules like hydrogen, oxygen, chlorine, carbon, etc. Okay, and if we study if we study the compounds, okay, compounds if you study, that will be classified as inorganic and organic substances. So from chemistry point of view, if we talk, you can say that they are aldehydes, ketones, aromatic compounds based on the functional groups. Okay, but biological point of view, we are considering, giving more importance to amino acids, nucleotide, okay, then what? Fatty acids, etc. So let's study this biomolecules, after classifying them into micromolecules and macromolecules. So do you remember the experiment in which we have ground the tissue in trichloroacetic acid and we filtered it? So in the acid soluble pool, one common feature we can see, that is they all were having around molecular weight around 800 daltons. Okay, and the acid insoluble fraction, if you see, they were this were having a range of 10,000 daltons and above. Understood? So and you can see that the molecules which were found in the acid insoluble, means in the cheesecloth, what were remaining was proteins, nucleic acids, polysaccharides, lipids, etc. Understood? And you can see lipids are actually not macromolecules, but still you can find them along with the acid insoluble fraction, that is in the cheesecloth only. Okay, actually the molecular weight of this lipids are not exceeding 800 dalton, but still they are found in the acid insoluble fraction, because when we grind the tissue, okay, you can see that along with other components they form certain vesicles. Okay, and this vesicles will not get soluble in water, so only it is not getting filtered into the acid soluble form, okay, or fraction, and it will remain in the acid insoluble fraction. Okay, so nothing much what tough is there. Just I am saying that if you grind a tissue like liver or a plant tissue, etc., and if you are grinding it with trichloroacetic acid and filtering, okay, using a cheesecloth, what you can see, some of the components you can found in the cheesecloth and the other component will ooze out, or it will be collected in a vessel. So in the vessel, if you see, okay, you will find the acid soluble fraction, and the upper or in the cheesecloth you will find the acid insoluble fractions, okay, and they are having what molecular weight between or above 10,000 Dalton, and others will be having less. But lipids are found along with what only acid insoluble fraction because of another reason, because they form what, they form certain they form certain kind of structures that will not be able to get dissolved in the water. Understood? And so what is the definition of biomicromolecules? Okay, can you give the definition of micromolecules? Okay, molecules, the biomolecules which are having, okay, the molecular weight ranging from 18 to 800 Daltons. Okay, they are present in the acid soluble pool also. Okay, acid soluble fraction. Understood? And what is the other one? That is the biomacromolecules. The macromolecules will have the molecular weight, clear, in the range of 10,000 Dalton and above. Okay, 10,000 Dalton and above, and they will be found where, in the acid insoluble fraction. Is it clear? Then, so we are going to study in detail about each of means some of the macromolecules and micromolecules in this chapter. So carefully you read all the portions as you watch the video, okay, then only you will understand. Otherwise later if you go to read, it will be tough. As soon as you listen to the class, you have to read the textbook. Okay, textbook you read and you try to understand, and if you keep postpone it for some other days, you won't understand. So it is very very necessary to read the chapters along with the after listening to the video. So I am going to teach the different micromolecules and macromolecules. Okay, I will be teaching in a different order that is given in the textbook, so that it will be easy for you. Okay, so if I teach you amino acid, then I will teach you proteins. Okay, so likewise I will be teaching, you have to find out the page and read, so that it will be easy. Okay, so first micromolecule that is found in the acid soluble medium is what? Amino acid. So we are going to study about the amino acids today. Okay, so amino acids are group of what? They amino acids basically, you remember that they are the building blocks of proteins. Have you heard about proteins? Okay, you can give some examples of proteins, isn't it? Hemoglobin, in that globin is a protein, isn't it? Insulin, okay, then keratin, likewise. Then you have studied about what? Tubulin, isn't it? So likewise many types of different types of proteins are there, and these proteins are made up of what? Amino acids. So basic thing that you have to understand is amino acids are building blocks of proteins. Okay, so proteins are made up of what? Amino acids. Don't forget this. Okay, so amino acids basically, if you see, it's a substituted methane. Methane is what? CH4, isn't it? Substituted methane means carbon will be having 4 valencies, isn't it? Carbon is having 4 valencies, isn't it? So in a amino acid, you can see that one is carbon is attached to one hydrogen, one carboxyl group, and one amino group, and one R group. Understood? So in each amino acid, this is the basic structure of a amino acid. What is it? it will its 4 valencies are satisfied by different molecules like hydrogen, okay, carboxylic acid, then what, amino group, okay, carboxylic group, amino group, and a R group. This R group can be varied, understood? And then you can see that it is also this alpha carbon, the first carbon, you can see that it is attached to a carboxyl group and to an amino group, so it is also known as alpha, okay, amino acids. Why? Because they are organic compounds containing an amino group and an acidic group, okay, basic group and acidic group as substituents on the same carbon, okay, that is the alpha carbon. So only they are known as what, alpha amino acids, okay. They are actually what, substituted methanes. Now you might have understood, isn't it? So methane is what, CH4. So this substituted methanes, hydrogen is substituted by what, this 2 of them, that is, sorry, 3 hydrogen of methane are substituted by what, amino group, then what, the carboxylic group and one R group, understood? And this R is a variable group, and there can be, based on the nature of the R group, there can be many type of amino acids, okay. The R group can be a hydrogen, a methyl, okay, a methyl group can be there, a hydroxy methyl group, likewise many others are there, okay. So you can see if the amino acid, okay, in the amino acid with the R group having hydrogen, means it will be known as glycine. So what is the chemical structure of glycine? See here, you can see, understood? NH2 group is there, okay, NH2 group, COH group to the alpha carbon, then one H group is also there, and in the R you can see what, H. So this particular amino acid is what, glycine. And if it is a CH3 group, then it will be another what, amino acid, that is alanine, understood? And if it is CH2OH, if the R group is CH2OH, then it will be serine. Likewise it varies. Is it clear? So likewise the amino acids are what, substituted methane, okay, and it will have carboxyl group and amino group attached to the alpha carbon. The chemical properties and physical properties of amino acids will be depending on what, amino group, carboxyl group, and the R functional group, isn't it? So likewise, based on the number of amino groups and carboxyl groups, okay, amino acids are classified as acidic amino acids, basic amino acids, neutral amino acids, okay, like this, understood? So for example, the amino acids with more than one carboxylic group are known as what, acidic amino acids. So where it can have extra means carboxyl group in the R functional group only, okay, understood? In the R, what, they can have one more what, carboxylic acid, so it will be, the number of acid group will be more than the basic group, understood? So it will be an acidic amino acid. Example for an acidic amino acid is glutamic acid, don't forget, okay, glutamic acid. Then if the number of amino group is more, then it will be a basic amino acid. For example, lysine, okay, lysine is one example for a basic amino acid. And if the number of amino group and carboxylic acid group is same, okay, then what will be that? It will be a neutral amino acid. Example is valine, understood? And if there are aromatic rings in their R, okay, R group, then it will be aromatic amino acid. Examples of aromatic amino acids are tyrosine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, understood? So I have told you about a number of amino acids, okay, and the amino acids which are found in proteins are 21. one only. Okay, there are 21 type of amino acids which are found in all the proteins. Just like 26 alphabets of English makes a number of words by different combination, by different foldings, they form a number of proteins. Is it clear? So I have told you about lysine, isn't it? Glycine. Then what? I have told you about alanine, then serine, valine, okay, all glutamic acid, tyrosine, phenylalanine, tryptophan can be asked. What? For example, glutamic acid is a dash kind of what? Amino acid. So you have to write acidic amino acid. Is it clear? Likewise, you have to go through this. Is it clear? Then another important feature of amino acid is they can exist as Switter ions. Okay, Switter ionic forms they can exist. That is the peculiarity of what? Amino acids. Because NH2, okay, NH2 means ion, due to the ionizable nature of NH2 and COH. Okay, see, you can see here this H can what go and reach what add here, and then what it will become CO minus, okay, and here NH3 plus. So this is the Switter ionic form, and in means it's a transient stage. In between they can exist like this, means COH. Okay, so this is the for means this is a amino acid. Which one? This one. Understood? And in between what they can do, they can COH group can lose one H plus ion, and that can be received by the this group, amino group. Okay, so NH3 plus and CO minus. So means net charge will be 0, but still they are having positive and negative charges in the same molecule. So this property is known as what? Or this type of ions, okay, they can exist as Switter ion. Understood? So about amino acids you understood now. Amino acids are building blocks of what? Proteins. They are substituted methane containing what? Amino group and carboxylic group in the alpha carbon atom. Understood? And there will be what? 4 valencies are of carbon are satisfied by 4 type of molecules. What are they? NH means amino group, then carboxyl group, then one hydrogen and one R. This R can be any type. Understood? So about amino acids you understood now. So we will continue in the next class. Okay. Thank you.